Okay, I think everyone is connected, and as others continue to join, I'll just keep letting them in. So I want to welcome you all this morning. We are joined today by CASA, who helps students and scholars get settled in the United States, specifically now in the Boston area. But they have really great tips on helpful ways to get started in the United States. So everything from apartments to other things that you might want while you're settling in. So Addie and Jillian, I want to turn it over to the two of you to tell us a little bit about what you do and things that'll be helpful for our international students and scholars who are getting going.
Thank you so much, Courtney. Hello, everybody. First off, thank you to Homebase for being an incredible partner with CASA. I know on the visa and immigration side, it's very helpful to have modules and guidance throughout your process. And complementing that is what we have built here at CASA. I am the co-founder of CASA. I'm based here in Boston, Massachusetts, in the United States. I myself studied abroad in my undergrad program and understand those experiences firsthand on what it's like to navigate a new country, a new system, and just how to feel more settled. And living in Boston now, understanding that it's a very education dominant area, we're really here to make sure that students not only feel settled no matter where they're moving in the country. But I'm going to kick it over to my co-founder, Addie, so he can continue.
Thank you so much, Jillian and the Homebase team. Hello, everyone. I'm Adi Pathak, co-founder and CEO of CASA. I came to United States from India as an international graduate student and had to navigate the entire transition myself from housing, paperwork, all the way down to how do I get to campus and juggle all the career and visa pathways. After graduating, I spent a few years working in higher education. So really have gone through the experience of also absorbing and seeing thousands of students and their families go through the similar transition. So I quickly realized that the experience was not unique. Every year, a new group of students are being asked to navigate the same challenges, largely on their own. And that combination of experiencing it myself and also years of supporting students is why we founded CASA. Graduate students have, the entire school experience happens on campus, but much of what determines your social and professional success really happens around your off-campus experience. So we want to help you understand that part of the experience from choosing where to live to navigating everyday systems and creating a genuine sense of belonging to this new city you'll call home. So whether you're someone arriving in Boston in a few weeks, considering a move, this is a really great webinar for you. So I really want to quickly just ask, understand where are the students coming from today. So if you could, please use the chat to drop 1, 2, and 3 so that we could understand where you are in the entire journey. And I'll give 30 seconds. Right? As more information pours in, we can see that there is a good combination of all several different stages. So we really designed this conversation to ensure that, not only it focuses on housing, but really practical tips. Wherever you are starting, the goal is to give you a good set of implementable, practical context that you can use now. most students, as we see, next slide, please, arrive academically prepared. You all have done really great amount of work to ensure you have a college acceptance, as well as figuring out your initial set of paperwork. You earned your acceptance, and we want to ensure that, as you prepare for everything off campus and outside of your classroom life, that we are there. Uh, I am one of the students who packed their entire life in 2 bags and arrived in Boston and decided to go to grad school. Until week one, I had, academic work, teamwork, some of the IKEA trips for furniture, a few internship calls. So really, it gets a little bit overwhelming, even if you're a really good multitasker. You can spend a surprising amount of time and energy figuring out how the city works, how the off-campus works, and where to go for help to understand every day in one piece. And these are separate issues, but they really help you absorb your academic as well as your entire experience in US overall, as well specifically in Boston. This is the gap we founded CASA to address. We provide local and human support around every part of this grad life so that you feel handheld and someone's there to at least help you throughout the entirety of the step, one step at a time. Off to Jillian.
Thank you, Addie. So while this is a Boston specific slide, it's also helpful to just zoom out and understand, as you're getting ready to prepare for your graduate program, does your school offer on-campus housing, or is it predominantly something you need to navigate on your own? And so what we do in CASA is ensure that you're thinking through the entire scope, not just one question or the other. How much can you sustainably spend each month, not only on rent, but living costs? What kind of living arrangement works for you? Do you really want roommates for the social aspect? Do you want to live on your own? And what will your daily commute really look like? How often do you have to be on campus? Are you getting ready to explore internships? Is there a sweet spot that you need to be in the middle? And of course, the bottom line of commute. How will you get around? Are you planning on having a car? What does the local transit system look like? All of those questions add up really fast. You may be thinking only on one, but we're here to make sure that you're thinking about the whole picture, not only to understand what works best for you, but especially in Boston, with our lived experience, our team collectively has gone through this journey many times, and making sure that you're keeping into account all of those factors to ensure what area makes the most sense, what type of living situation makes the most sense. And there's no right or wrong. Every choice has balance and trade-off. And so we're here to make sure that you're not navigating that alone. So while monthly rent is part of the off-campus living expenses, we're really here to help walk you through that budgeting to make sure that you're thinking through the whole picture. And the biggest piece that CASA is here to support you on, not only in the full student journey, but of course, what living looks like. If you do need to live off campus and need to navigate that, oftentimes you're doing this from afar, maybe even in an area that you've never been able to visit yet before. And so we're here to really make sure that you're not wasting your time, you're working with quality options. And the way that we do that is there are many listing sites, there are many marketplaces, and there are many resources, but that piles up to create a research project for you. Again, navigating these local systems externally can be a lot. And so the CASA framework is really here to ensure that you are the decision maker, but we're here to make sure that work not only moves forward, but you're looking at quality options to ensure that you're here and you're settled and you have a great place to live. So we do that by this 5-step framework. We connect with you. We make sure that, again, that budget conversation, do you need a roommate? CASA works in the Boston area, especially with graduate roommate matching. So you're living with somebody going through the same step in life, making sure that everything adds up. So when you're presented with a short list of options, we do that intentionally because there's a lot of options out there. Some are legitimate, some are not. And unfortunately, the rental market can be difficult to navigate. And so we're here to make sure that the options you've been working with our team are ready to move forward with an application. All pathways have been cleared for finances and the application itself. And we're really here to make sure that that verification is in place, whether it's physically going to the unit and touring it, whether it's contacting and building those relationships with landlords to make sure that you truly have a great home to live. We advocate on your behalf and make sure that everything adds up so you're ready to move in with confidence. Back to Addie.
I always like to think of, seeing these few thousand students every year over the last few years. Some of the first Boston logistics tests that everyone has to take is really going to the airport rideshare zone 2 terminals away with 2 suitcases and a low phone battery. And when we look at these other questions that are really, really important as these minute changes really affect your overall experience in your day one, your week one, and of course, your first semester going into the academic year. Um, we ensured that a commute that looks reasonable online may feel very different late at night or during winters, especially in Boston. A car may offer flexibility or it may create more cost and difficulty than it solves. So phone plans, health insurance, our airport arrival, and your home setup all come with choices that are easier when someone helps you understand the usual trade-offs and also have some resources to ensure the execution of the entire flow. CASA was built because our team had to navigate many of these decisions ourselves as international students. 90% of our team is from international students, as well as the entirety of the Boston housing market, as well as the logistics that surround it. We understand the difference between information that is technically available online uh, through agents as well as searches, and also the advice that is genuinely useful in daily life. Students can text us in real time. We are a very human forward company, and we help them compare options, prioritize what matters now, and determine the next steps. The value is not just another resource list. I know that the last thing you need is another research project. It is knowing that you have someone local to ask throughout the transition. Next slide, please. As formal international students and grad students, we know that meeting people and actually feeling connected are not always the same thing. Your academic experience can become an important community, but graduate schools are busy schedule. You are juggling your academics, but also teamwork and your career search outside of that. We create pathways for our students to meet other students in the region so that you have shared experiences with a larger intercollegiate grad community. That includes smaller social gatherings, neighborhood specific experiences, culture activities, wellness programming, and professional connections, really ensuring that you have a holistic on campus experience, but also focusing on your off campus experience as well. The goal is to not simply to fill your calendar, but it is really to create this relaxed, repeated opportunities where unfamiliar faces gradually become familiar. Belonging usually grows through repetition and not one heroic networking event. So that's been our goal, really designing that intentional programming on ground for you all. Because CASA brings together grad students across institution programs, backgrounds, your community does not have to stop at the edge of your campus. And that support continues throughout the year. The same CASA team you contact with the practical experience is also helping you discover the new city, meet people from your next favorite Vietnamese restaurant all the way down to your next favorite Italian cafe. We want to ensure that Boston feels like home to you, like it did for us after years of this groundwork. I want to ensure that I'm able to not just speak to you about the things we can do, but also really learn from where you are in your journey, what are you stressed about, what are you excited about, and really help you one-on-one, personalized to figure out the support you need. That's exactly what we do with every student walking in and speaking to us. So I really would urge you to scan the QR code, say hello to our team. We would love to speak to you. And at any given stage, as you are, one, two, or three, as you mentioned, we would be able to at least help you guide through the next line of information, contextualize that content, and hopefully help you execute and welcome you in Boston. With that, we would love to hear your questions. And if something comes up in your mind after today, please feel free to reach out. Whether you're searching for housing or preparing to arrive and or already here, we would love to help you find your next best friend, next partner, and also hopefully your next internship and career search. Thank you so much, Homebase team.
Thank you for that presentation. So, couple questions that came in. So, one of them is about searching for a rental. So, if students are looking for a rental on their own, what are some legitimate sources to look at, and how do you avoid scams?
Great question. Coming from the real estate side of things, especially in the Boston market, that's a question we get a lot from our students because sometimes people want to be very involved. I myself love being involved in a rental search and figuring out what I want to envision my new home to be. But yes, scams unfortunately are very real. So a couple of things to absolutely keep in mind is making sure that first off, hopefully the photos don't look as AI generated as they can come across as. But more importantly, ensuring that, research, no matter where you are in the country, your local renter laws, a lot of local governments have websites to ensure that the proper forms, the proper payment method is being followed. And if it's not, that's typically when people reach out and want to ask for money before you see something or you sign something. And there's a lot of, unfortunately, copied listings where people like to just try to get your data and then try to sell you on something else. We run into that a lot in the Boston market, which is a huge pillar of why we founded, why we founded CASA. We work with a local family-owned brokerage team to ensure that not only are the listings legitimate, but there's true human relationships between the landlords and property management teams. So as students are navigating this, they know firsthand that inventory is verified. There are easy pathways to apply. It's international renter application friendly as well. But across the board, definitely check with your local government where you're going to be living to ensure that, there's proper rental practices being taken. And also book a call with us. Regardless of where you are in the country, we're able to at least help set some ground layers to make sure that you're set up for success.
Okay,
I
great. So,
just want to add a 10-second layer on top of that. I guess the humble brag Jillian is not doing, I would do it. Jillian itself herself has worked in real estate for the last few years, so she's able to help execute the entirety of the process. So you don't have to search and get rejected from 1,000 options to ultimately find a few of them legitimate. We do the upfront scrubbing, selecting, and curating these options for you. And once you do like them, we'll prepare your paperwork and speak to the landlord. Also, tour and then give you a FaceTime or WhatsApp call so you are able to at least verify, is this the same place that was advertised the way it looks? Ensuring that you have a more stable, more clear, and consistent experience.
great. So I can say, having worked with international students for almost 20 years, that it is very challenging to get an apartment when you don't live in the city that you are going to be living. And that's true whether you're moving from abroad or moving from one US city to another. And so, whenever it's possible to have this kind of support, it's actually really a great service just because sometimes, like Jillian was saying, it's hard to tell which photos are real and which aren't. So, having someone who can actually go and look at the place that you're considering is a huge both time saver on your end, but also often a money saver so that you don't put money into something that is not real or not what it is advertised to be. Um, we have a couple more minutes, and Daniel, I see your hand raised. If you don't mind putting your question in the chat, that would be great. That way we can make sure it gets asked. Um, Another question for you guys is when you're looking at housing, how far is too far to live from campus? What should you think about?
I think I can take that because I've literally lived in 7 different locations in the last 10 years. So I'm like the perfect poster child of using public transport and then having a car and then having a blend of that. What I do want to ensure, answering that question, one thing that is very important to understand is not just the school you are going to, but also the field you would want to work after that. So you're going to a finance program. It is equally important for you to be close to your campus, but also to the financial district in Boston. The reason being that your on-campus classroom activities should also be balanced by all your networking, all your internship talks, and that 2 hour commute to a talk would be very burdensome. And I want you to ensure that you are balancing both of those from semester one. So we really recommend a 30 and 30-minute commute to where you would like to work, the companies you would like to work, and also the campus you would like to go to for classrooms is a really healthy version of it. Now, this really depends on the combination of public plus private transport you're using. Our team is really helpful in also optimizing your entire route to campus. We will also ensure that as you're going through logistics, if you're thinking of getting a car in Boston, we do a lot of contextual webinars on that, and we have local partnership that will help you get a driving license, figure out what insurance could look like, as well as ensuring that your day-to-day is really optimized to manage that process, especially in snow. So our goal and attempt is to not exceed your morning commute, which would probably your classes would start 8:30 if you are around Boston area, more than an hour with your public transport, and more than 45 minutes with your private transport, because that will put you in an optimal range of not just being close to campus, but also to all the student-friendly areas. And this will help ensure that you're on time in classrooms, but also available for all the amazing house parties and networking events that you're also moving here for.
That's a great tip. I feel like a lot of times when students come, it becomes sometimes all about studying every single day. But I also, want to recognize what you're saying is that going to a university is not just about studying, it's also about why you're studying, which is to move forward in your career and build your life. And part of that is having those social connections. And in the US, having those social connections can often lead to a job, often lead to new opportunities. So I love what you're saying that don't just think about the logistical pieces and the budget and the grades, but use the whole picture. Okay, another question that Daniel just put in here. So he's actually not in the Boston area, but he's going to be getting in very late at night into the airport. So what can he do to prepare to make sure that he has a smooth transition from the airport to wherever he's going? And I love that you're thinking about this right now, Daniel, because that's so important not to land and have no idea how to get from point A to B.
Yes, so I think Bethany College is in Virginia, from what I understand. So what I would recommend from someone who has done that mistake, I know your nearest airport would be Wheeling, but to look into your commute way early hand and book in advance, because the last thing you would want to do is to be jet lagged and also be getting rejected by local cab companies. So um, there is an option to do schedule a ride with all major national rideshare companies, but often, even in Virginia, with larger airports, you'll have those opportunities to do that with the airport directly. because a lot of those companies are part of inside the airport. So I would highly recommend, if you are flying in from another country and you don't have a cellular plan set up yet, to not risk going outside the airport and then wondering if your phone works and if I can book the Uber or not. So I would really recommend to do all of that beforehand, or at least do it within the premises of the airport, so that you're not at the whims of the weather god at that moment, and as well as getting your cell service in that one dead zone in Virginia and airport.
And as someone who lives in a very small town with a very small airport, I am going to add something to this, which is you might consider staying in a hotel for the first night that has an airport shuttle that you can book. Because where I live, you can get into the airport at night and there may not be any public or private transportation, except if you have an airport shuttle, you do have a guaranteed ride to somewhere you'll be able to sleep. And so I'm not sure which airport you'll be flying into, Daniel, but if it's a small one, I would just find a hotel, make sure they have a shuttle, and book it in advance. Ask them what you do when you arrive. It's usually a great way to ensure that you don't end up with nowhere to go. So I have personally helped people at the airport stuck who didn't understand that there wasn't going to be transportation, because it's not really that common in the US that you get somewhere but there's no transportation, but it does happen in small towns. Okay, so I think we're about at time. So how about just one or two takeaways that you have for any students that are moving and they're looking at either finding their housing or coming to the US?
Of course, I can go first. So the biggest thing that we always say with CASA and how we're working with students is no matter where you are in your cycle, whether you think that you have it all mapped out, which is wonderful, or you're not quite sure what the next step is, please reach out to our team. Regardless of where you're going to be attending in the United States, whether it is Boston, we're able to offer even more hands-on support, or it's just general questions to ensure that I'm thinking through this correctly. Is there anything else I should explore? Whether that's going back to my institution and asking questions, seeing if CASA has any local partners in the area you're planning to be in. But please know that we're here to support you, and there is no such thing as a dumb question. There's no such thing as too many or too little. Even if you just want to gut check with us, please reach out. We're a human-driven team. We understand this journey firsthand, and we want to make sure that you know that somebody is here for you.
Thank you for that. I would say that right now, as we stand in the world today, a lot of complexity that we see online doesn't really exist on ground, and doesn't really at least apply to where you are flying into. And so, as there would be natural anxiety about myriad of different things to figure out, it's very important to take it one day at a time, 1 month at a time. There are always people who've done it before you. So although, I'm Indian, so I am always shy asking for help, I have really learned that in US, people really respond to that. They take you under their wings, they give you the right advice, they'll do things with you. We are your best friends in residence, so it doesn't have to be a product or a service to book a call. You can utilize us as your partners in anxiety, speak through things with us. And that's really why we started as formal international students who face the problem. It's really for you, by you. You'll always be speaking to someone who's gone through it before and has at least a couple of tips and tricks to solve.
Fantastic. So thank you both so much for telling us a little bit about moving to Boston, how you all can help. We really appreciate your time this morning. I do want to point out a couple of things. If you have not looked at the chat, there's a link in there to upcoming webinars. So we'll have additional webinars with CASA as well. So if you want to learn more and slightly different topics, they'll be here again with us. If you'd like to book an appointment with them, I did also put an article in the chat there where you can click on it. We have another way to access that link. So if you want to look through it a little bit further, learn more, you can do that. And then a couple other webinars I want to mention. We do have a few coming up about duration of status and changes, and you're welcome to reach out to all of us anytime. So we will be sending a follow-up email with the presentation as well as links to how to contact us. And so we want to say thank you for joining us this morning, and we look forward to you all coming to the US. I know it's not easy, it's a huge leap. And it really shows how brave and amazing each of you is for taking this journey in front of you. All right. Thank you all.
Thank you.
Thank you.